Okay, a great night again to one and all. Welcome to the pre-board for March 2023 Philippine Licensure Examination for Teachers, or PLET for Mathematics Majors discussion, particularly of items 61 to 90. So I hope that your answer sheets and your questionnaire, your copy, the PDF copy of the test questions are with you, and let us begin our discussion. And please be reminded that this is our directions for this review. Directions. Write the letter of the correct answer before the number. If the correct answer is not found among the choices, write E po. Okay. I believe we are ready. Let's have number 61. Find the distance between two parallel lines, 3x minus 4y equals 10 and 3x minus 4y equals 20. Is it A, 2, B, 4, C, 5, or D, 10? Would you like to comment down your answer, please, in our chat? Okay. So far, we have three people who commented A, and I believe that the list is still going further as well. No? Marami pong nagko-comment. And let's see if letter A is correct. But we have to note of this. If we have two lines in the same Cartesian plane, meron lamang po silang distance kung silang dalawa po ay parallel lines. Tandaan po natin yan. If the two lines intersect at least one point, then surely they don't have a distance. It's like zero. But here we have a non-zero distance if they are parallel. And we know po that they are parallel because in this case, if you try po on your own, they have the same slope of 3/4, but they have different y-intercepts. And to give you the formula or the shortcut in doing this, if you have the distance d between two parallel lines, we have ax plus by equals c sub 1 and ax plus by equals c sub 2. So you could see po that the left-hand side and the right-hand side, the left-hand sides of these two equations are the same. In this case, caution po, c sub 1 is not equal to c sub 2. And this would tell us that these two lines are indeed parallel. And ito po yung formula. That is D is equal to the absolute value of the quantity C sub 2 minus C sub 1. Yan po yung differences ng kanilang constants. Provided that these two are written in standard form, all over the square root of a squared plus b squared po. So if you have 3x minus 4y equals 10 and 3x minus 4y equals 20, ano po yung c sub 2 dito? Yung c sub 2 po ay?
20.
Yung 20 po. Ito po. Ano po yung c sub 1 natin? 10 yung c sub 1, tama. Ano po yung a? Yung small letter a na to? 3. At ano po yung b natin?
4.
4. In this case, negative 4. Okay? So knowing those values and plugging it in the equation, in the formula, we have d equals the absolute value of the quantity 20 minus 10 all over the square root of 3 squared plus the square of this negative 4 po. So simplifying this, your numerator, 20 minus 10 will give you 10. Yung denominator po natin ay magiging 9 plus 16 po ito, which is 25. Take note po, the common error po is, the common error of sum is that kapag sinesquare po nila yung negative, negative din po yung sagot, no. If you square a positive or negative number, the answer, real number, the answer is always positive. So we have this, square root of 25 is 5, and that the absolute value of 10 over 5 is 2, letter A. So to everyone who commented A, great job po. Okay. Thank you. Let's proceed to item number 62. What is the slope of the line perpendicular to 2x minus 5y equals 1? Did you go for negative 5 halves, negative 2 fifths, or 5 halves? I could see also that so far to everyone who commented, your answer is letter A. Okay, let's see if A is correct. Tandaan po natin ito. If we have this one, if we express this in slope-intercept form by solving for y, you will arrive to y is equal, okay, in this case po, no, dito, you might ask, I subtracted both sides by 2x. That's why you have negative 5y equals ito, naging negative 2x plus 1. So dividing both sides by negative 5, you get y equals 2 fifths of x minus 1 fifth. In this case po, ano po yung slope natin dito?
2 fifths po.
Come again po?
2 fifths po.
2 fifths.
2 fifths.
2 fifths po. Kasi yung kasama ni, in slope-intercept form po, yung kasama ni x, yun po yung slope. Yung constant lang is your y-intercept. Now, so you could see from here, the slope of this line is 2 fifths. Considering po that the line is neither horizontal nor vertical, paano po natin malalaman yung slope ng line na perpendicular sa kanya?
Sir,
Yes po?
yung theorem, sir, is slope of, if they are perpendicular, slope M1 multiplied by slope M2 is equals to negative 1.
Tama. It's equal to negative 1 po. Or in other words, the aside from the fact na yung product ng slope nila ay negative 1, we could also say that the slope of one line is the negative reciprocal of the other. Considering na walang horizontal, walang vertical. So ano po yung negative reciprocal ng 2 fifths? That would be negative 5 halves. So you take the reciprocal and change the sign. Negative here, positive becomes negative. If it's negative here, then its negative reciprocal will be positive. So hence, if you answered negative 5 halves, then you are actually correct. Letter A po. Take note po natin, kung parallel po sila, dapat equal yung slopes. Kung parallel po yung ina-ask ko, 2 fifths yung sagot. Pero kung perpendicular, dapat negative 5 halves. I hope it's clear to us po. Okay. Let's proceed to number 63. Point 2, negative 3 is the midpoint of segment KJ. If K has coordinates 4, negative 1, find the coordinates of J. Is it negative 5, 0, 2, negative 4, 0, negative 5, or 1, negative 3? Okay, I could see letter C from Sir Jason, Sir PJ, Sir Jonathan, GGQ, Ma'am Jenilyn. All right, tama nga ba yung C? We have to remember po that in this case, given po yung isang endpoint, hahanapin po natin yung isa pang natitirang endpoint given na 2, negative 3 po yung kanilang midpoint. And we have to remember this po. Ito po yung formula sa paghahanap natin ng midpoint. That is, the coordinates of your midpoint is simply equal to x sub 1 plus x sub 2 all over 2, comma, y sub 1 plus y sub 2 all over 2. This one here is the abscissa of your midpoint. And the y sub 1 plus y sub 2 all over 2 is the ordinate or the y coordinate of your midpoint. So ito po yung given natin. We don't know the other point. We don't know the other endpoint to be exact. But we know that the midpoint is 2, negative 3. I represented the other endpoint with coordinates x sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2, I mean. So we know that. So this becomes, yung kanina kasi given yung 4, -1 eh. That's why yung 4 yung x sub 1, yung -1 yung y sub 1. So that's why po you have 4 plus x sub 2 all over 2, comma, -1 plus y sub 2 all over 2. And take note po natin, tandaan po, na itong 2 na ito yung x eh. Sa kabilang side, yung 4 plus x sub 2 all over 2, yung x coordinate. That's why we could say na equal po silang dalawa. And y coordinate po yung -3 dito. Ito naman po yung y coordinate dito. That's why I could say that -3 is also equal to -1 plus y sub 2 all over 2. Do we have questions or clarification so far how we arrive to these equations? So far, none. Okay. So if that's the case, we will solve now each equation. So if we pick if we have the first one, multiplying both sides by 2 gives you 4 equals 4 plus x sub 2. Subtracting both sides by 4 gives 0 as the value of x sub 2. For the second equation, which is -3 equals -1 plus y sub 2 all over 2, multiplying both sides by 2 to clear off the fractions gives us -6 equals -1 plus y sub 2. Adding 1 both sides gives us -5 as the value of y sub 2. So therefore, yung x-coordinate natin ng other endpoint is 0 at saka yung y-coordinate niya is -5. Hence, point J has coordinates 0, -5, and that is letter C. So, congrats po sa lahat ng sumagot ng C. But if not, it's still okay. All right. 64. Express in general form the square of x plus 3 plus the square of y minus 1 equals 4. Is your answer for 64 A, B, C, or D? All right, please keep going. Okay, I could see a lot of these. And in expressing this one in general form, no, in this case, we have to make the right-hand side equal to 0 po. So we will square each of these binomials as well. So yung mangyayari po dito ay, what is the square po of x plus 3? Di ba? Kung nagsi-square po tayo, you square the first term, that's x squared. You multiply the first and second term, x times 3, that's 3x, times twice of that will be 6x, plus the square of the last term, which is 9. The x squared plus 6x plus 9 here is the square of x plus 3. This y squared minus 2y plus 1 is the square of y minus 1. That is, y minus 1 squared, y minus 1 times y minus 1 will give you y squared minus 2y plus 1. And of course, with the intention of making the right-hand side equal to 0, I subtracted this positive 4 on the right, became minus 4 on the left. That's why it makes the right side 0. And rearranging the terms and combining like terms, we have x squared plus y squared, all the degree 2's first, plus 6x minus 2y. But the constants 9, 1, and -4 combines to or simplifies to 6 and equals 0. Hence, indeed, if your answer is letter B, you got it right. Okay, I hope you got it po. Do we have questions or clarifications before I proceed?
None,
None?
sir.
Okay, thank you po. 65. Convert 300 degrees to radians. This is the part that we have trigonometry. Okay, so I believe that many of you are familiar with this, no? in converting degrees to radians, all we have to do is multiply by the conversion factor na pi over 180 degrees po. Okay? Okay? That's why 300 degrees times pi over 180 degrees, the 300 and 180 could be divided by 60 because that's their GCF. And simplifying it gives us 5 pi all over 3. So if you answered letter C, great job. And many of you got it right as well. Thank you. Okay? 66. Okay, sige nga, try natin to. If secant theta minus tangent theta equals 2/5, which of the following must be the value of secant theta plus tangent theta? Did you go for 5/2, 2/5, 3/4, or 7/3? Sir Jonathan said letter A daw, 5/2. How about the others po? Sir PJ also answered letter A. The same with Ma'am Janeline then, with Ma'am Donalisa, with Ma'am Yoli, with Gigi. All right. Anyone po from the group who could tell us, ano po yung ginawa ninyo? Anyone po?
Sir, kinuha ko po yung value ng theta by putting yung secant theta minus tangent theta is equal to 2/5 sa calculator po and using yung shift solve po.
Okay, that's good. That's good, sir. So I'm very happy, sir, that you are aware no, of the calculator technology. That is actually a very good thing. And that's good. And actually, there is another way without actually solving for the value of theta po. And that is by using identities. Tandaan po natin, meron po tayong identity na Pythagorean identity na secant squared theta is equal to tangent squared theta plus 1. So isolating one, I subtracted both sides by tangent squared theta, and it becomes secant squared theta minus tangent squared theta equals 1. And in this case po, no, di ba yung secant squared theta, it is a perfect square. Tangent squared theta is also a perfect square, di po ba? So in general, in this case, the secant squared theta minus tangent squared theta is in fact a difference of two squares. So anyone po, ano pong factor nito? Kasi difference of two squares naman ito.
Secant
Anyone po?
theta,
Go
sir,
on.
minus tangent theta times secant theta plus tangent theta.
Very good. So yan po, it's equal to 1. And we know po yung value ng secant theta minus tangent theta to be 2/5. So I replace this by 2/5 and copy the rest. And since we are after of the value of secant theta plus tangent theta, we can simply multiply both sides by 5/2. Di po ba? And that secant theta plus tangent theta equals 5/2. So that is letter A. So sa lahat po ng sumagot ng A, iba man po yung process nyo sa akin, that is still, ang importante po, tama po yung sagot natin. But if not,
Nagkamali ako, sir.
learning experience. Ay, it's okay lang po. Sige lang po.
Ay,
Learning
kasi
experience for all.
walang sa akin, hindi fraction. Lumabas secant minus
po yun?
25 at saka yung letter A 52, letter B 34. Walang fraction.
Ay.
Kaya nag-solve ako.
Ay, okay.
Opo.
It's okay po. Sige lang po.
Pag-transfer ko sa kabilang
Okay. Sige lang po, sir. Laban lang. Okay. 67. What is the reference angle of 240 degrees? Is it 30, 45, 60, or 70? Okay?
C.
Letter C. Okay. So yung mahalaga po dito is, kung di po tayo sure, no? Pwede po natin siyang i-draw. And take note, it's understood po in this problem that the angle is in standard position. So the initial side should be the positive side of the x-axis. And since the angle is positive, then it should be generated in a counterclockwise manner. Kung negative naman po, clockwise. So you see, this one is 90. Going here, it's 180. And going here, you need additional 60 degrees po, no? To create a 240-degree angle. But we have to remember that in this case, that the terminal side is located at the third quadrant. And the reference angle is the smallest positive acute angle that is formed by the x-axis, with the x-axis, and with the terminal side of your angle. That's why ito po yung reference angle natin na 60 degrees, letter C po. Okay, wow. So far, happy ako kasi marami pong sumagot ng letter C. Good job po. Let's proceed to 68. Which of the following statements is true about the figure? Sin C equal. Okay, examine po natin. Okay. Take note po Okay, so far, Sir Jason and Sir Jonathan is mentioning no na letter E daw. Meaning to say, wala pong tamang sagot daw dito. Okay, tignan po natin kung tama yung letter E. Ano nga ba yung value, di ba, yung kapag sinabi nating sin C, that's opposite over hypotenuse. Yung opposite ay 5, yung hypotenuse ay 13. So dapat 5/13. So mali ito. Ano nga ba dapat yung value ng cosine A?
Adjacent over hypotenuse.
So ano po yan? Adjacent, cosine A, ito yung si A. Yung adjacent,
5 over 13.
5/13. So mali din ito. How about yung secant A naman po?
Hypotenuse over adjacent.
Tama. So ano po dapat yung secant? Secant A.
13 over 5.
Tama. Dapat 13/5 yung secant A. So mali din po ito. How about yung cosecant C po?
Hypotenuse over opposite side.
Tama. Hypotenuse over opposite. Hypotenuse is 13, opposite is 5. So mali din po ito. In other words, since sa ating instructions po, no, kapag wala pong tamang sagot sa choices, letter E po yan. So congratulations po sa lahat ng sumagot ng E. Ikaw na. Okay. Good. 69. Simplify cosine x times the difference of cosecant x minus n secant x subtracted by cotangent x. Is it -1? 1. Secant x or tangent x? Letter A daw, -1. It seems, okay, we have 3 people so far who relayed their answers. Sir Jason, Sir Jonathan, Ma'am Donna, their answer is A, -1. Let's see kung tama nga ba. Also with Sir Mark, -1 din. Let's see kung tama sila. Take note po marami pong paraan kung paano ito isolve. I will show one of them only. And one of them is to express them, if possible, in terms of sines and or cosines. Ito yung cosine x, it's already okay na. How about yung cosecant x po? Ano po ito in terms of sine or cosine?
1 over cosine, 1 over sine.
Tama. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So ito ay magiging 1 over sine x. How about yung secant x po?
1 over cosine, sir.
Magiging 1 over cosine x po ito. Tama. How about yung cotangent x?
Cosine over sine.
Tama. That's why meron po tayong ganito. I hope it's clear with you that we have just expressed them in terms of sine and or cosine whenever possible. And the next thing I did po is I distributed the cosine x to this one. No? So magiging the distribution cosine x times this will be cosine x over sine x. Cosine x times the negative 1 over cosine x, magiging cosine x o minus cosine x din po siya. Also, I just copy the last term, which is minus cosine x sine x. Now, kung makikita po natin, meron po ba tayong like terms dito?
Cosine over sine, sir. And cosine
Tama.
over cosine. 1.
Ito po yung cosine x over sine x minus cosine x over sine x. So combining them will produce 0, di ba? Magiging 0 tong dalawang to. So what is left is negative cosine x over cosine x, which is of course equal to negative 1. So letter A po, yung ating tamang sagot. Good job, everyone. All right. 70. If sine theta equals 4/5 and theta is within 0 and pi over 2, ano pong ibig sabihin nito? It means, kasi ito 0 degrees ito eh. I-convert po natin yung pi over 2 sa degrees, magiging ano siya? Magiging 90 degrees po, di ba? So in other words, kung yung theta mo po ay in degrees is between 0 and 90 degrees, sa anong quadrant po siya makikita? Tama. It's between what? It's within the first quadrant po. Then, cosine 2 theta is equal to what? Is it 24/25, 7/25, negative 7/25, or 144 over 25? Okay, let's see which is correct. Okay, so far, my 70 letter C. Okay, yung iba, C din, pero may question mark. Let's see if you got it right. Actually, if sine theta equals 4/5, tandaan po natin na meron po tayong identity that the double angle identity for cosine 2 theta, tatlo po sila. But the one involving sine theta is cosine 2 theta is equal to 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. So knowing that sine theta is 4/5, sine squared theta means yung value ng sine theta na 4/5 ay isa-square po natin. By substitution, you have cosine 2 theta equals 1 minus twice the square of 4/5. The square of 4/5 is 16 over 25. Simplifying this gives you 1 minus 32 over 25. And of course, that is negative 7 over 25. Indeed, letter C. All right, so I think we have a few people so far who commented letter C, but it's okay. Maybe others are just shy to comment down their answers. Okay, I hope you got it. 71. What is the simplest form of sine 1/2 x minus cosine 1/2 of x quantity squared? Is it 1 plus sine x, 1 plus cosine x, 1 minus cosine x, or D, 1 minus sine x? Okay, I see a lot of these. Tingnan po natin. So if you have this one, following the rules of algebra po, we will be squaring a binomial. So if we will squaring a binomial, di ba, you square the first term. So the square of this, of sine 1/2 x, is sine squared of 1/2 x. Then, twice the product of the first and second term. That's why, but since it's minus here, it should also be minus here as well. That's negative 2 sine 1/2 x times cosine of 1/2 x. Added by the square of the last term. If you square negative cosine of 1/2 x, magiging plus cosine squared of 1/2 x po yan. I hope, can you follow po?
Yes
I
po.
hope so. Okay, salamat po. And I will be rearranging the terms. I group together the sine squared 1/2 x plus cosine squared 1/2 x And I place this middle term as the last term here. Okay, kung inyo pong matatandaan, ano po yung identity natin? Ano pong value ng sine squared 1/2 x plus cosine squared 1/2 x?
1 po.
1. Kasi meron po tayong Pythagorean identity no sa trigonometry na sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1. Here your theta is 1/2 x. So magiging 1 po ito. How about ano naman po ito? 2 sine 1/2 x cosine 1/2 x. Ano po ito?
Double angle identity po.
If we will apply the double angle identity, if
Sine-
1/2 x magiging, if 1/2
sine
x
2.
is our theta,
Sine 2 1/2 x.
sine 2 of 1/2 x,
1/2 x,
which
yes,
is sine theta. Di po
sine
ba?
theta. Yes, sir.
So 2 sine of 1/2 x plus cosine of 1/2 x is in fact equal to sine x using your double angle identities. So replacing them, you have 1 minus sine x. Letter D. Yan po yung tamang sagot. But apart from that po, suppose you don't know this method, ano pong pwede ninyong gawin? Yung pwede niyo pong gawin is, assign ka po ng value ng theta. Assign ka po, example, hindi lang 45. Siguro assign ka ng, say, yung x mo, for example, palitan mo ng 10. Check mo po, tapos pag-assign mo dito ng 1/2 ng x mo na 10, check mo sa calculator mo, okay, ito yung sagot niya. Tapos, i-check mo din siya sa mga choices. Kung saan dyan yung nag-produce ng parehong sagot, yan po yung tamang sagot. Okay? If ever you don't know po. Okay, so far so good. 72. When a logarithm is expressed as an integer plus a decimal, the decimal part is called A, mantissa, B, characteristic, C, base, or D, anti-logarithm. Okay, letter A daw. 472. Tama nga ba si A? And tandaan po natin, remember that, just remember the acronym CM, centimeters. CM, C.M. The C here, it's characteristic dot mantissa. So yung whole number part po, yung characteristic, yan po yung whole number part ng isang logarithm. Samantalang yung mantissa na after ng decimal point, siya po yung non-negative na decimal part po natin. That's why centimeters, letter A. Okay, good job. So far, I'm very happy na marami pong nakakuha ng tamang sagot sa item na ito. All right. 73. In how many ways can 10 flowers be planted in a circular lot? Did you go for letter A, B, C, or D? 380,628, 362,880, 328,860, or D, 388,620. Saan po? Okay, letter B. So this one po, no? Circular po. Circular po yung lot natin. So could someone please tell us po, ano nga po yung formula for the number of permutations in a circle?
N minus 1 factorial po.
Tama po. So that's n minus 1 factorial, where n represents the number of distinct objects. So with n equals 10, that would be 10 minus 1 quantity factorial, that's 9 factorial, which means 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, or simply the product of all the natural numbers from 9 until 1. And that is 362,880, letter B. All right. By the way, I think this item is a start of the combinatorics part. All right. Let's move on to 74. I hope it's clear with us. How many triangles can be made from 10 points, of which no 3 points are collinear? Is it 30, 210, 720, or 120? Take note po natin ha, na kapag based po sa problem, kapag sinabi natin no three of them are collinear, it means na wala pong 3 points na pwedeng i-connect using one straight line. Or kung mag-draw ka man po ng any 2 points, I mean, if you connect any 2 points using a straight line, then 2 points lang talaga yung makontain niya. Hindi siya pwedeng makakonect ng 3 points, for example. Okay. Is this a combination or a permutation problem po?
Combination, sir.
Tama. This is a combination problem. In a combination, it is the number of ways you could choose where order does not matter. And you could do this in the formula is NCR, which is equal to n factorial all over n minus r quantity factorial r factorial. Kung may calculator po kayo, pwede nyo po siyang idirekta sa calculator, where n is the number of objects, all in all, and your r is the number of objects you will take at a time. Take note po natin ha, that the value of r should not exceed the value of your n, of the total number of objects. So since meron po tayong 10 points, at to form a triangle, we need 3 points, no? So that's 10C3 po. That would be 10 factorial all over 10 minus 3 quantity factorial times 3 factorial. Copying everything, and I just simplified the 10 minus 3 here. It became 7 here. And you take the factorial of that. And using your calculators, you could actually see that it's 120. So letter D po, yung tamang sagot dito. Do we have questions po or clarifications about this problem? Okay, none so far. Thank you so much. So be very careful po ha. There are instances that you have to ask yourself if the problem is asking for involves permutation or does it involve combination. So you have to check. No? You have to bear in mind, basta walang order na kailangan, combination po yan. But if order matters or if order will create a difference in meaning, then it would involve permutation. 75. I got 5 cards from a shuffled standard deck of 52 cards without the jokers. How many 5-card hands will have 3 aces and 2 kings? Is it 16, 24, 30, or 120? Take note po ha, kapag sinabi po nating 5-card hands, pipili ka, parang bibigyan po kayo ng 5 baraha. Ang 5 baraha na yon, dapat in this problem, no, 3 yung alas, yun po yung ace, no, alas, at saka 2 king. Ang tanong, how many ways can that be done? Can this be done? Okay, sige nga po. Okay, so far we have letter B, 24 daw. Now, before I divulge the solution to this, may ilang I hope na familiar po kayo ha sa baraha. Meron po tayong 4 na meron tayong heart, diamond, clubs, yung malunggay daw, clubs po yun, yung sa iba, no? Clubs, at saka yung spades. Bawat isa sa kanila, merong tig to 13. Ace, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At saka yung 3 face cards, yung face cards na Jack, Queen, at saka King. That's why 3 times 4, meron po tayong 3 times 14. I'm sorry, 4 times 13, that's 52 cards. In this case po, no, I placed in the problem na i-exclude po natin yung 2 jokers. Okay? So, tanong ko po, does this involve combination or does this involve permutation?
Combination po.
Tama. Combination po ito. Kasi kung naglalaro po kayo ng poker, for example, halimbawa lang po, or if you have 5 cards, the manner, as long as you have these 5 cards, the order of having them or placing them sa kamay mo ay hindi po yan nagmamatter. Okay? That's why, may ilang pong aces sa isang deck of cards?
4 po.
4. 4 po yung alas. May ilang kings?
4 din po.
4.
4 din. 4 din. So, sa 4 na aces, pipili ka ng 3. Sa 4 na kings, pipili ka ng 2. That's why po, it's 4 combination 3. Dito po yung sa aces. At saka 4 combination 2 naman po yung para sa aces. And according to the fundamental counting principle, after getting this number of ways, we have to multiply them. Okay. Using your calculators po, what is 4 combination 3? Ito po yung lagay niya. That's 4 factorial all over 4 minus 3 quantity factorial 3 factorial. Ito yung 4C3. Yung 4C2 naman, by the way, is 4 factorial all over 4 minus 2 quantity factorial 2 factorial. So, yung 4C3 ay, sabi ni ma'am, 4 daw.
24 po.
4.
4
Yung
po.
4 po yung 4C3. How
Yes
about
po.
yung 4C2 po?
6 po.
6.
Tama. Ito ay 6. That's why
4
4 times 6
equals
gives us 24. So sa lahat po ng sumagot ng B, be happy kasi tama po kayo.
Yay.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, saglit lang po. Okay, letter P. 76. A box contains 15 red balls and 10 green balls. Find the probability that a red ball and a green ball are drawn in succession in this order. Did you go for 1/2, 3/4, 1/4, or 1/3? Take note po, for this particular problem, we are assuming po no, na hindi po ibabalik yung nabunot mo ng bola. For example, sa unang bunot mo, red nakuha mo, yung bolang yon ay hindi mo na po ibabalik pa sa box. So C daw, 1/4 daw. May sumagot naman ng letter A na 1/2. So, hati po yata tayo dito. So may sumagot ng 1/2, may sumagot ng 1/4. Let's see which is correct. So if you have 15 red and 10 green, meron po tayong 25 balls in all, di po ba? 25 po. What's the probability of getting a red ball?
15 over 25.
Tama, 15 over 25. That's why I have here po, 15 over 25 here. Pero, sa next mo na bunot, dahil nakuha mo na yung isang red, ilang balls na lang ba yung matitira?
24 na lang.
24. Kaya po sa second fraction po natin, 24 na lang po yung denominator natin. Now, ang tanong, di ba sa second natin na bunot, dapat green yung kunin natin. So we know na merong 10 green out of the 24 na natitira sa box. And after that, no? So these are dependent events. So the probability here is actually dependent on kung anong nakuha mong bola, no? So that's why here una 25 muna, sa ikalawa 24 na lang yung natitira. And by multiplying them using your calculators, it's 3/5. This one simplifies to 3/5. The second one simplifies to 5/12. I divide the 3 and the 12 here became 1/4. The 5 over 5 became 1, and you get 1/4. Letter C. So I hope na nakuha po natin yung explanation. So letter C nga po yung ating tamang sagot. It's okay po. So hati man tayo, no? Merong nag-A, merong nag-C. Yung halaga po, we'll learn from it. Alright. Sige, salamat po. Nakuha po natin yung explanation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, salamat po. Huwag po tayong mahiyang magtanong if ever you have a question in mind po. 77. Of the 10 girls in class, 3 have blue eyes. If 2 of the girls are chosen at random, find the probability that at least one has blue eyes. Is it 6/17, 8/15, 7/15, or 5/70? Okay. So far, there are 2 people who commented their answers. Okay. But which is correct? May sumagot ng C, may sumagot ata ng B. Take note po, you are going to choose at least one has blue eyes. So there are 2 cases. The first case is one of them, only exactly one has blue eyes. So meron po tayong 3 blue at saka 7 po sa kanila ang not blue yung mata, yung kulay ng mata. So there are 10 C2 or 45 ways to choose any 2 girls, di po ba? Kasi dalawa lang po yung pipiliin natin out of the 10. So if there are no restrictions sa pagpili, 45 ways all in all po sa pagpili ng dalawang babae. But we have the first case. Una, pwede yung isang student blue yung mata niya, yung isang student ay hindi naman blue yung mata. So sa tatlong merong blue, isa yung pipiliin natin. That's why you have 3C1. Tapos sa 7 not blue, isa yung pipiliin natin sa kanila. That's why 7C1. And by the fundamental counting principle, they have to be multiplied. That's why 3C1 is 3, 7C1 is 7, and their product is 21. Which tells us that there are 21 ways all in all to choose people, 2 girls, no, na isa yung blue at saka isa na not blue. However, sabi sa problem, ano po yun ha? Sabi sa problem, at least one. At least one with blue eyes. Pwede po na dalawa sila blue eyes at saka yung wala na not blue. So which means na out of 3 blue-eyed, dalawa yung kukunin mo. That's 3 combination 2. At sa 7 na not blue yung eyes, pipili po tayo ng wala. That's why 7C0. Using your calculators po, 3C2 is 3. 3C0 is in fact, 7C0 is 1. You could verify that with your calculators. And 3 times 1 is 3. And this tells us na meron pong 3 ways na napipili tayo ng dalawang students na puro blue, na dalawa sila na blue din yung mata nila. At saka walang student na walang blue, na hindi blue yung mata. Ang next na tanong is, aanhin po natin si 21 at saka si 3. Shall we add, minus, times, or divide? Tama. We will. Considering there are 2 cases here po, no? Tama po si Sir Jonathan. We will add them. This tells us that there are 21 plus 3 or 24 ways to choose the girls with at least 1 blue eye. And with that, there are 24 ways out of the 45 number of ways. So that's the probability is 24/25, dividing both numerator and denominator by the GCF, which is 3. That gives you 8/15, letter B. All right. Do we have questions or clarifications? All right, 78. The probability that a patient recovers from a heart operation is 0.9. Find the probability that exactly 5 of the next 7 patients having this operation survive. Round your answer to 3 decimal places. 5 out of the 7 patients ang magsusurvive. So careful po tayo dito ha. Kung ang probability po na when we say survive, naka-recover po siya sa context na to. So kung ang probability po na maka-recover po siya ay 0.9, ano po yung probability na hindi po siya maka-recover?
0.10.
0.10 or 0.1, di po ba? And that's why po, ito po yung gagawin po natin. Remember na 5 po sa kanila yung makaka-recover. That's why this means 0.9 times 0.9 times 0.9 times 0.9 times 0.9 or simply 0.9 raised to 5. Now, di ba, sabi din sa problem na kung 5 yung maka-recover, 2 sa kanila ang hindi makaka-recover. Di po ba? That's why that's 0.1 times 0.1 or simply 0.1 squared. But remember po that we can choose out of the 7, we can choose any 5 of them. That's why we multiply this with 7 combination 5. And if you encode this directly to your calculators, you could actually see, no, it's a decimal yung sagot, which rounds to 0.124. Letter A po. So, wow. So far, Sir Jason, Ma'am Donna, Sir Jonathan, Sir PJ, Ma'am Jeneline, got it right. Okay. Yung iba siguro tama din. Nahihiya lang sila. No worries po. Nakuha po natin?
Yes, sir.
Okay, salamat po.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. 79. Find the sum of all the coefficients of the expansion of 3x minus y quantity to the 6th. Did you go for 4,096, 729, 64, 32? So can you imagine po, no? If you will use the binomial expansion, raised to 6, tapos i-add mo lang naman yung lahat ng coefficients niya. Okay. Shooting an arrow, okay. Okay, dito po. Sino po makapagbibigay ng fastest method dito?
Saan natin i-raise? 2, 6.
Ano po? Ano po yung shortcut dito? Kung sum of the coefficients lang naman. Sabi ni Sir Jonathan, ginamitan niya daw ng Pascal's triangle. Okay siya, pero matagal siya.
Straight, sir.
Ano po?
Straight po. Yung
What do you mean
coefficient
po?
ng y and x, 3 minus 1 is 2 to the 6.
Exactly. So yung technique, yung ipinagbabawal na technique po dito ay kunin nyo lang po yung mga variables. Di ba 3 ito? Dito 1, minus 1 po yan dito. So
Ayan
for this, no? So disregard na lang po yung variables and evaluate the expression.
Ako dito.
So that will become
Dapat na.
3 minus 1,
Ito ko
quantity to
sinaka.
the 6, 2 to the 6, which is 64 po. Letter C.
3 minus 1.
Yes. That's why po, no, kung makakakita po kayo ng ganito na binomial, tapos raise mo sa yung sum lang ng coefficients, yan lang po yung gagawin ninyo. Kasi kung gagamitan mo po siya ng Pascal's triangle, parang napakatagal.
Answer
Opo.
45?
All right, let's proceed to number 80. How many 4-digit numbers do not contain at least one of the digits 2 and 6? Did you go for 5,416, 5,614, 5,789, and 5,835? What is your answer? Okay. Letter E daw. So kapag di alam, letter E. Okay. May nagsumagot ng E at saka B. Okay, E. Okay. Actually, this one po involves parang complement siya. What do we do is hahanap, okay, in your opinion, in this case po, no, how many 4-digit numbers do we have? The smallest is 1,000. The highest is 9,999. How many 4-digit numbers are there? There are 9,000 po, di ba? Meron po tayong 9,000 4-digit numbers. Ito po yung technique. Ang technique po dito is, hanapin po natin kung ilang 4-digit numbers ang merong 2, at least one of 2 and or 6, at saka isa-subtract po natin siya mula 9,000. Diba? There are 9 times 10 times 10 times 10 or 9,000 4-digit numbers. Bakit? Kasi sa thousands place, hindi ka pwedeng magbigay ng 0. Sa hundreds, tens, at saka ones, pwedeng all of them are acceptable. That's why 9,000 4-digit numbers po. Now, ito yung technique. Those who contain any of 2 or 6, sa thousands place, if they contain 2 or 6, so 7 lang po sila. Okay? 7 lang po sila. Dito, 8 po sila. Saglit po ha. So, sa thousands place po natin, 7 po sila. 7 sila, I mean, no, na hindi nagko-contain ng 2 or 6. Bakit hindi? Dito, hindi ginamit yung 0, hindi ginamit ang 2, hindi ginamit ang 6. Okay, I stand corrected there. Yung tanong po pala is do not contain any. Do not contain any po yung sa tanong. So dito po sa thousands place po natin. Bakit 7 lang? Kasi hindi pwede dito yung 0 at saka 2 at saka 6. That's why out of the 10 digits, 7 lang. Sa hundreds place, bawal si 2 at saka si 6 eh. So that's why out of 10, 8 na lang. Ito 8 din. Ito 8 din. And by the fundamental counting principle, that's 3,584. Indeed, letter E po yung tamang sagot. Did you get it po?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sige. So sa lahat po ng sumagot ng E, very good. Tama po. And I'm sorry for the inadvertence, no? Ang tanong pala is do not contain. Thank you. 81. Find the slope of the curve whose equation is y equals 2x cubed minus 3x at x equals 1. Did you go for 3, 4, 5, or 6? So this one, I believe, involves now calculus. Okay. May sumagot ng 3, may sumagot ng D, which is 6. And to get the slope of a certain curve po, no, or ng isang equation, this actually involves getting the first derivative. So, the derivative of y is y prime. Ano pong derivative ng 2x cubed minus 3x? Using the power rule, ano po yung derivative ng 2x cubed?
6x squared.
Minus 3.
6x squared.
Minus
Ito po
3.
yung, how about no minus 3x? Minus 3. Tama po. So the slope at any point on the graph, which is represented by y prime or the first derivative, is 6x squared minus 3. So review your power rule po. And at x equals 1, substituting the value of x here by 1, then that gives you 6 minus 3, which is 3. So the correct answer po is letter A. Thank you po, Sir PJ, and to everyone who commented as well. Okay. All right. No problem po. 82. Find the limit of 1 over 2n as n approaches infinity. Is it 0, negative 1, 1, or infinity? Okay, Sir Jason, Sir Jonathan mentioned letter A, 0 daw. Okay, it's in fact, no, merong theorem na related dito. Same with, okay, Sir PJ as well. With
Letter
Ma'am
A.
Jessa, Ma'am Ortega, Ma'am Janeline. And let's see. Actually po, as n tends to go, approaches infinity, or as n becomes infinitely large, for example, becomes a very large number, makikita po natin, no, that the value of the denominator becomes increasingly large. Nagiging malaking value po ito. And kapag yung denominator po natin ay sobrang laki, and if you divide a natural number with a constant, for example, by 1, by a very large number, you could actually see that the number that you give is it's small, and this value approaches 0. That's why the correct answer po is letter A. Grabe ka, sir. Marami kang hugot. Sir Jason, last na yan. Char lang. Okay, biro lang po. Okay.
Hugot ka more, Sir Jason.
83. Find the exact value of the limit of x squared minus 9 all over x plus 3 as x approaches negative 3. Is it 0, 2, negative 6, or 6? If you could see po, no, dito, kung i-evaluate po natin, kung isa-substitute po natin ang negative 3 direkta, anong value po yung makukuha natin sa numerator? Ano pong value ng numerator kapag sinubstitute po natin direkta yung negative 3?
0, sir.
0. How about yung denominator natin? 0 din, di ba?
0 po.
And as Sir Jonathan commented there, we have 0 over 0, which is an indeterminate form for this case dito, no? But in this case, you get an undefined value. In this case, no, sa calculus, we have here your indeterminate forms. Marami po sila. Infinity over infinity, ano pa, 0 raised to 0, 0 over 0. But we can do something, no? In fact, there's a fixed answer here. If you could see our numerator, marami pong pwedeng gawin. Pwede pong gamitin yung L'Hopital. Pwede din po ninyong i-factor ito. In fact, the numerator, x squared minus 9, is a difference of 2 squares. It is factored as x plus 3 times x minus 3. And your denominator, which is x plus 3, was just copied. And the rest were copied as well. X plus 3 is a common factor. So we can divide both numerator and denominator by x plus 3. And you have the limit of x minus 3 as x approaches negative 3. And by substitution now, negative 3 minus 3, you get negative 6. Letter C. So now, letter C po, yung sagot sa number 83. I hope you got it po. And if you did, congratulations. Okay. Kung gumamit po kayo ng L'Hopital, okay din po yan. Magiging 2x ito. 2x all over 1. 2 times negative 3, still negative 16 po. But take note po ha, ginagamit po natin yung L'Hopital's rule, kung, example po, kung nakakakuha po tayo ng 0 over 0 po. Pero kung hindi po siya 0 over 0, pagka-evaluate mo, huwag pong gamitin yung L'Hopital. Tandaan po natin yan. 84. if sine squared x equals, if y equals sine squared x, find the double prime of y or the second derivative of y. Is it 2 cosine 2x, negative 2 cosine 2x, 2 sine 2x, or negative 2 sine 2x? Okay, saglit lang po. All right. So from here, when we say second derivative, ito po yung derivative ng first derivative. So, dalawang beses po tayong mag-differentiate. So, if y is equal to sine squared x or y is equal to the square of sine x, parehas lang po sila. Iba-ibang itsura, but they convey the same meaning. Using the chain rule, y prime, the power rule po natin, no? 2 times 1 here, magiging 2 po yan. Tapos, kopyahin lang po yung sa loob, sin x. Bawasan po natin yung exponent ng x, magiging 1 po. That's why 2 sin x. Pero, we still have to get the derivative nung function na nasa loob. Ano pong derivative ng sin x? That's cosine x po. That's why the first derivative is 2 sin x times cosine x. At saka ito po yung ginawa ko. So, I remove the parenthesis lang. And from here, no, the second derivative is the derivative of your first derivative. So I let this one, 2 sin x, as one function. And that's why pinula ko po siya, ginawa kong red. Yung cosine x is the other function. Ginawa ko pong black. So dalawang functions. To get the derivative of the product of two functions, we can use what we call the product rule. That is, copy the first function, 2 sin x, multiplied by the derivative of the first second. Yung derivative po ng cosine x ay negative sin x. So that's why ito po, no? First function times the derivative of cosine x, which is negative sin x, plus, kopyahin po ninyo yung second function na cosine x and multiply it with the derivative of the first function. Yung derivative po ng sine is cosine. That's why the derivative of 2 sin x is 2 cosine x. Simplifying this, 2 sin x times negative sin x ay magiging negative 2 sine squared x po yan. Tapos ito naman po yung cosine x times 2 cosine x ay magiging 2 cosine squared x. And I'll just factor out 2. That's why meron pong 2 dito. Tapos, ni-rearrange ko lang po sila. 2 cosine squared x divided by 2 is cosine squared x. Negative 2 sine squared x divided by 2 is negative sine squared x. Okay? Ano po? Anong identity po ito? Yung cosine squared x minus sine squared x po.
Wala ang identity po.
Ng ano?
Cosine
This is
2x.
what? Very good. This is in fact cosine 2x. Hence, the second derivative is 2 cosine 2x. In this case, letter A. I hope you got it po. Okay, 85. Find the limit of 5t to the fourth minus 4t squared minus 1 all over 10 minus t minus 9t cubed as t approaches 1. Is it 2/5, 3/5, 4/15, or 5/10? In this case po. Yes po?
Pwede po pabalik po no? Pasensya na po, number 84 po. Yung ano lang po, yung sagot. Pasensya na.
Letter A po.
Thank you po.
Okay, welcome. Okay. Kung isa-substitute po natin directly yung 1 sa both numerator at saka denominator, I believe you would agree that you will get 0/0 po, di ba? Tama po ba ako? Magiging 0/0 po ito?
Yes, sir.
Tama. And in that case, you can actually factor out. You can factor both numerator and denominator,
Yes po.
and you could cancel the common factors there. But apart from that, meron pa po tayong method na tinatawag nating L'Hopital's rule, no? Yung rule na yon. That is, if you have 0/0, L'Hopital's rule is saying if you get 0/0, all you have to do is get the derivative of the numerator all over and also that of your denominator independently. Yung numerator po natin ay 5t to the 4th minus 4t squared minus 1. Yung derivative po nito ay 20t cubed minus 8t. Yung derivative naman po yung denominator natin na 10 minus t minus 9t cubed ay magiging negative 1 minus 27t squared po. Now, try nyo po ulit i-substitute yung 1 dito. If you substitute t as 1, that becomes 20 minus 8 all over negative 1 minus 27. You will get here po 12 over negative 28, which simplifies to negative 3/7. So wala po yung negative 3/7 sa choices. The correct answer po is letter E. Okay po. It's okay po, Ma'am Gemma. No worries po. That's why in this case, no, if you did factor the numerator and the denominator, that's okay. But if not, kasi parang medyo mahirap ata i-factor, no? Ito, medyo.
Yes, sir.
That's
Ginamit
why-
ko kasi factor, sir.
Pwede. Pero in this case po, hindi ko po ginamit kasi medyo matagal.
Opo, mahaba
Ginamit
lang.
ko na po yung L'Hopital. Yeah. Especially po, no, kung mag-synthetic division ka pa or remainder theorem ka, mahaba. That's why I used L'Hopital's rule na lang. All right. 86. Calculator, that's okay po. No worries po. A farmer with 200 meters of fence plans to enclose a rectangular piece of land using a river on one side and a fence on the other, 3 sides. Solve for the maximum area in meters squared that the farmer can obtain. You could approach this using quadratic equations, simple that. You could also approach this using differential calculus. Is it 5,400, 5,200, 5,000, or 5,600? Okay, so far we have 3 people. Their answer is letter C. And actually, ito po yung itsura niya. Halimbawa po, ito po yung farm niya, rectangular farm. At saka yung blue na region po nito, assume pumahaba po yan. Yan po yung example, yung portion ng river. Dahil yung portion ng river po, ito, no? So, hindi na po ito kailangang i-fence. So, I let x here, no? To be the width. X, so it's x here, it's also x here. At saka I represented this 1 by y. But if you did the other way around, that's still correct. No worries po. Diba, sabi sa problem na yung perimeter po na, yung total fencing material mo lang po is 200. So, if you add x, ito x plus y plus x, yung total niyan ay dapat 200. That's why 2x plus y is equal to 200. And solving for y, I have y equals negative 2x plus 200. But we know po that in getting the area of a rectangular farm, we multiply the length by the width. So we have here xy equals the a, where a there represents the area of the rectangular farm. And next, what I did was my purpose po bakit ito yung ginawa ko kanina, yung y equals negative 2x plus 200. Ang purpose po niyan is to do substitution. This y here will be replaced by negative 2x plus 200, which will become x times negative 2x plus 200 equals 8. Tapos yung ginawa ko po ay dinistribute ko po yung x na to sa binomial. It became negative 2x squared plus 200x equals a. And this is now your function. Your a in terms of x na lang. Getting the derivative of both sides, the first derivative both sides, magiging negative ito po, no, by power rule, magiging negative 4x po ito. Yung plus 200x ay magiging plus 200 na lang, equals the derivative of a, which is a prime. However, in this case po, we will set a prime equals 0. Because in this context also, no, tandaan po natin na yung area is in fact a constant value. So it's also one of the reasons how come we set a prime as 0. And normally po, to solve for the minima or maxima, we usually equated it to 0. Because that's the part na 0 yung slope or merong changes, no? Yung from positive to negative or the other way around. So if we have negative 4x plus 200 equals 0, ano po yung value ng x dito? What's the value of x po?
50, sir.
Okay, 50. Tama po. And since x is 50, masosolve na po natin yung y. Diba? Meron tayong equation dito sa itaas na y equals negative 2x plus 200. And replacing x by 50, you get y equals negative 2 times 50 times plus 200, which is 100. So, ito po ay 50, ito po ay y, na 100 rather. And to get the area of a rectangle, di ba? Dito xy. Or in this case, length times width, no? 100 times 50, 5,000 nga po yung area ng rectangle. Letter C. All right. I hope you understood po. 87. Okay, here. Okay, find the area of the region bounded by x equals 3 minus y squared and the line y equals x minus 1. Is it 12/25, 9 halves, 13 halves, or 18/25? This is somehow easier po, no? If you know how to use your calculators. But for now, let's do it the longer way. So it's better siguro po, no, to determine or to identify also the boundaries for integration. Ito po yung graph natin. This is the line. First, we determine the intersections, which would then be the basis for the interval. Ito pong yung x equals y plus 1, if I'm not mistaken. Ito po yung x equals 3 minus y squared. And of course, you see, meron po silang points of intersection. To do that algebraically, equate po natin sila. Y plus 1 equals 3 minus y squared. Expressing this in standard form, you will get y squared plus y minus 2 equals 0. Ano po yung factors ng y squared plus y minus 2 po?
Y plus 2, y minus 1, sir.
Okay, so y plus 2 and y minus 1. And equating each of these factors to 0, you could see that y is 1 and y is negative 2. That's why ito po yung y na 1. Ito naman po yung y na negative 2. Diyan po sila nag-i-intersect. Okay ba? So, yan. Now, this is the function of, di ba, yung ginagawa po natin last time is nag-draw po tayo ng isang horizontal strip dito. Horizontal naman po. That is the function at the right minus the function at the left. And integrate them and subtract them. Ito po yung boundaries of integration natin, negative 2 yung lower boundary. 1 naman po yung upper boundary. So with this, yung sa left, di ba ito yung curve na to, which is 3 minus y squared. Subtract it with the 1 at the, sorry, ang right pala, right minus left. I stand corrected. That's 3 minus y squared minus this 1, which is y plus 1, dy. Simplifying the subtraction part gives you negative y squared minus y plus 2 and dy, integrating that from negative 2 to 1. Okay, so kung laging integrate po tayo, ano po yung ginagawa natin? Nag-a-add po tayo. So sa power rule naman ng integration, no? Plus 1 tayo sa exponent. Tapos kung ano yung exponent ng variable natin, then yan din yung value ng denominator natin. So that's, ito po yung negative y squared integrated to negative y cubed over 3. Ito po, plus 1 po tayo sa exponent, ha? Negative y. 1 plus 1, 2, y squared. over 2. Yung 2 naman po ay 2y. And this will be evaluated in these limits, using these limits. So yung gagawin po natin is, substitute po natin, all y's will be replaced by 1. Also, all y's will be replaced by -2. And we will be subtracting the results like this. So -1 cubed over 3 minus 1 squared over 2 plus 2 times 1, replacing by 1. Replacing everything here by 2, by -2, ito po yung lagay niya, o yung labas niya. And subtracting them with the help of your calculators, you could actually see na yung area nito is 9 halves square units. Indeed, letter B. Very good so far, no? So meron tayong so far apat na at least 4 people who got letter B correctly. 88. Evaluate this. Evaluate the square root, the integral of the square root of 1 plus 3x dx as x goes from 1 to 8. Is it 24, 25, 26, or 27? Okay, 26 daw, sabi ng tatlo sa inyo so far. And in this case po, no, if you will get the derivative of the inside, which is 1 plus 3x, the derivative is actually 3dx. Pero wala pong 3dx dito. Kaya yung ginawa ko po, nag-multiply po ako ng 3, naglagay din po ako ng 1/3 sa front to maintain equality. And I did here what we call substitution. I mean, in this case, nag-power rule po ako direkta, sorry. I add the square root of 1 plus 3x is the same as 1 plus 3x raised to 1/2. Pero power rule says add 1 here. Add ko rin. So yung exponent ito ay magiging 1/2 plus 1. At dahil yan po yung exponent natin, yung denominator natin also is 1/2 plus 1. But of course, meron ka pang 1/3 dito. And this will be, okay, here, the limits of integration. And that simplifies to that one. And if ito po yung, sinimplify ko lang po, no, lahat ng 1/2 plus 1, ginawa ko lang 3 halves. And if you divide by 3 halves, the same thing, no, you are multiplying by 2/3. So that becomes 2/9, the 1 plus 3x raised to 3 halves. And again, using po yung same ruling kanina, no, lahat po ng x, papalitan natin ng 8. Ito po yung lagay niya. 2/9, 1 plus 3 raised times 8 raised to 3 halves. Lahat ng x dito, same function, papalitan po natin ng 1. Naging 2/9, quantity 1 plus 3 times 1 times raised to 3 halves. At saka subtract po natin yung kanilang result. Then your calculator can do the trick na lang po. You will actually get the 2/9 of 117, which simplifies to 26. Letter C. Okay. Okay, so to everyone who got C, okay, good for you. Or of course, no, you could directly encode this in your calculator. You will get the same answer. 89. The two illustrations were taken from GeoGebra. The purple region represents the blank of the 1/3 and 1/2. Is it the sum, the quotient, the product, or difference? Tama nga naman. No? Lahat ng x papalitan na. Sana all na pampalit. Okay. Letter C, product daw. Tama nga ba ito? And let's see if you got it right. So far, may sumagot ng B, quotient. Take note, yung purple region po, ito po, yung hinahanap natin. Ito ba ay sum, quotient, product, o difference? B or C? You will see here. Ito po. I used actually GeoGebra here. Take a look po. Yan po 1/2, 1/3. Ito yung lagay niya. This is 1 out of this purple is 1 out of the 6 parts, di po ba? Yung tanong po, ano pong ginawa, di ba? 1/6, yung purple na to, 1/6 ito. Anong ginawa mo sa 1/2 at saka sa 1/3 para makuha yung 1/6? Add, subtract, divide, or multiply? Multiply. So hence, in this case, we multiplied po. That's why the correct answer is product. Since product is the answer of a multiplication sentence. I hope it's clear with us. And let's proceed to number 90. Coins and or counters may be used to teach what concepts? Is it about addition, subtraction, multiplication, division? Did you go for A, 1, for B, 1 and 2, C, 1, 2, and 3, or D, 1, 2, 3, and 4? If you answered D, you're telling us na pwede bang gamitin yung coins sa pag-teach ng 4 fundamental operations? And if you answered letter D, you are actually correct. So halimbawa na yung coins pwede siya sa addition eh. Like example, meron akong 5 piso, meron akong 2 piso, o ilan lahat. Subtraction pwede din. O ito yung pera mo, ito yung ginastang mong amount. So subtraction. Multiplication, example, 3 times 5 pesos. Meron kang 3 5 pesos, multiplication yon. Or let's say meron kang 40 pesos, hahatiin ito sa 8 tao, ilan ang kukunin nyo? So pwede siya. That's why coins and counters may be used to teach 4 fundamental operations. Letter D. I hope you learned something for today. So thank you very much and a great day to one and all.